Hi everybody. Today we're going to be discussing assignment number 7. For assignment number 7, your goal is to create your own 3D printable fidget spinner using previous skills. Now keep in mind that this fidget spinner is going to be 3D printed out of PLA, ABS, or some sort of 3D printable plastic material. Now we're not going to be using carbon fiber or anything like that. So make sure that you keep in mind that it's going to be lightweight. But eventually, hopefully when we go back to school, we'll be able to take these models and be able to print them. So let's start out by explaining this project. So for this project, it's a little different because I'm not going to be having a tutorial to explain how to do it because I want to see your skills in CAD. So for this project, you'll see that you're going to start off by doing 2-dimensional and 3-dimensional sketches. So first, you're going to start off by creating thumbnails. And if you don't know what a thumbnail is, no problem. Please watch this video that explains thumbnails very well. So that's how you're going to basically do your thumbnails, and then you're also going to be doing rough drafts and everything. So this can be a complicated assignment if you don't read the instructions, but if you read the instructions, it's very easy. It's just very detailed. So basically, the gist of it is you're going to be creating a custom, unique 3D fidget spinner. So now this fidget spinner can be printed out on a 3D printer, as we said before. So here are some examples. So this one has 3 different bearings, this one has a center bearing, and it has 3 different nuts on it. This one has 4 total bearings, this one has 1 bearing, this one has 4 total bearings, and this one has 3 bearings. So one thing you'll notice is that every single fidget spinner has to have at least 1 bearing in the center. Now the most important part of this assignment is A, that it's unique and creative to what you've come up with in your design, and it doesn't look like anyone else's in the class, and B, that the center hole is 22 millimeters so we can fit a bearing in there. 22 millimeters is the size of a standard skateboard bearing, so that's where we got that number from. So don't worry about writing the bearing in or anything, we'll take care of that later. So you'll notice that this one, and this one all have bearings in them. So don't worry about that, just make them look like these without bearings and just have holes in there. And you don't need to have multiple bearings, you can have nuts in there to counterbalance it, you don't even need anything as you can see in the red one over here. Anyway, I'll continue on. So because I didn't make a tutorial, I wanted to show you an example of what is something you can do. Now this fidget spinner I intentionally made where it's very simple, and yours should be a lot more complicated than this one. But essentially this one holds 4 different bearings, just like the one up here, except it's a little more creative. So as you can see, this one's very simple because we actually use the I use the circular pattern sketch tool, which is something that we used a couple of videos ago. So we use that for the 4-sided and 5-sided of the dice, if you want to go back to that video. You can see that there's 3 different holes over here, and then there's the center hole for the bearing. So as we talked about before in the first video, if you'll notice there's actually circles in the middle here, these automatically get extruded out once you extrude in 3 dimensions. So basically the spinner is in units, millimeters. This one's in millimeters, of course. I don't care what units you can use. You can use millimeters, inches, centimeters, whatever. It might be more useful to use millimeters because it's not the largest object in the world, so you might want to be more precise. The thickness, this one's 10 millimeters, however, it doesn't really matter to me. Whatever you want to do as long as it can fit in your hand. And then that essentially covers this. This document is actually on Google Classroom attached to the actual assignment, so feel free to look at that. And then the most important thing of this assignment is that you look at the rubric, and look at the rubric, because the rubric will discuss everything that you're being graded on, and it'll tell you about the different laws of physics that need to be used and everything, because remember, this is a physics-based experiment. So overall, this shouldn't be a too difficult of an assignment, but if you have any questions, then feel free to reach out, because this can be confusing if you start getting into really in-depth and high-quality 3D fidget spinners. Let me know if you have any questions, and best of luck with the assignment. Have a great day, guys. Bye.